Hello everyone, how are you? How are you? This is the TERRAN, sorry, I'm a little under the weather, so if you hear me sniffling and hacking and coughing, sorry about that. This is the TerranLamp Show, episode number 78. I'm on a little early today to make sure my guests can get on okay, but thank you so much for joining me. Actually, let me see, I meant to turn on my light. I'm trying to Tuesday, at that time. If you have a story, and I know you do, I would love to have you right here on the show. Make sure you are getting a hold of me. Cheryl, let's see, you can't hear, it's choppy. So is it choppy for everyone? I don't know if it's, is Amy, you're on. Is it choppy for you? Can you hear me okay? Or is it choppy? So we are here at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is the TerranLamp Show, episode number 78. Make sure you are getting in contact with me if you'd like to be on the show. I would love to have you on the show. Make sure you're getting in contact with me. If you know someone who should be on the show, make sure they're getting in contact with me as well. I would love to have them on the show. This show is about positivity and love, and I truly appreciate it. Excuse me. Again, I'm a little under the weather, so please excuse my voice and sneezing and all that good stuff. So I'm also going to start, I just got this idea this week. I know most of you know I put my Cash App on the show, so I will put my Cash App, and if you'd like to donate to heart disease and cancer patients in need, please make sure you just put survivor in the comments. It's no fancy 501c3. It's just good old fashioned me and a love offering. I take what's given in that Cash App and take it to my local hospital where I get treated and help pay a heart disease or cancer patient's bill, or pay a portion of their bill when we can. So I will go ahead right now and put that in the comments here. What is that? Is that in the beginning or the end? But you guys, let's see. So that's the Cash App if you would like to make a kind donation. Also, if you'd like to be a sponsor of the show. So I'm kind of starting that new this year in 2022. If you would like to be a sponsor on the show, which means I will advertise your product or service that you have on my IG before the show, and I'll also give you a shout out on the show. If you'd like to be a sponsor of the show, get a hold of me for that, and all the proceeds from anybody who sponsors will be also going to those heart disease and cancer patients in need. So it's all about positivity, love, and giving back out of our kindness of our heart. Let's see. Miss Cheryl, can you see me? Can you hear me? I'm saying accept, so I'll invite you in and see if that works that way. Let's see. Hello, hello. Oh goodness. Cheryl, tell me what you see. Tell me what you hear. I'm saying accept, but it's not letting me accept you for whatever reason. Let's see. Cheryl. It says you're unable to join, Cheryl. I think you said your Instagram is public, and I think you said you have the latest version of Instagram. I'm not sure why else it's not letting you join. I'm here, but it's not letting me. What is it saying, or what is it doing? Can you tell me that? What is it saying, or what is it doing? Oh, you know what, Cheryl? Did you accept me as a friend? Cheryl, there you are. There you are.
I think I'm here.
All right. What did you say, Carolina? It's that time of year when we all have resolutions and we want to do changes on our lives. Yeah, maybe you have an episode. Carolina, why don't you come on and share with us what you'd like to focus on? I'm putting that out there to you. Cheryl, how are you?
I'm good.
How are you doing?
Good. This is my first Instagram live, by the way. So this is pretty cool.
It's pretty neat, right?
Yes.
I was telling everybody, please forgive all my, sneezing and coughing and hacking. But how's Cali? First of all.
Oh, it was beautiful today. I hate to say it with everybody else. I'm sure you're all freezing.
Oh, I know. Well, I'm glad you made it on. As I was telling viewers, this show is about positivity. This show is about love. Taking a look at what you do and empowering women. I don't want to give away your whole story, but, we've talked for a few months prior to this and then, over some information today. And it's just like, empowering women. I'm going to say, I'm going to let you tell your story, but I'm going to say empowering women, from the heart, like when I say from the heart, I literally mean starting with the inside out, right? Like from the heart. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about your journey. And hello, everyone. Again, this is the TERRAN Show, episode number 78. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Terran. And yes, my name is Cheryl Kent, and you couldn't have introduced it better, segue, because that's what I'm doing. My business name is One Heart Empowered, and that's what my desire is to empower women to really start working on themselves. And so I am a certified Christian life coach. But I am also a financial professional as well. So I help women empower financially. So I love that. And then I'll just say a little bit about myself, about my story. I have been.
Where'd you go? You went somewhere. I think it flipped or something.
Did it flip? Let's see.
There you are. You're back.
Okay.
You're back.
Okay. I am a Christian. I've been raised not as a Christian, I will tell you. When I was a little girl, I accepted Christ in my life, but kind of walked away. And it wasn't until my divorce. It's usually always something very profound. But I have been a busy, single, career-oriented mother for over 20 years. My son is now 21. And through that time, I have just learned so much through the experiences of my life of just being a single mom. My divorce happened when my son was a month old, so that was very traumatic. I lost my parents prior to that, so I went through a lot of the loneliness that women go through, and especially during, my son's birth. So through that, I was also involved in pharmaceutical sales for 17 years. So I did that all on my own and had a lot of challenges that many women go through. And through that, and through learning just to press into God's heart, I learned to even forgive. And went through betrayal and learned to extend the olive branch out over the years with my son's father and work with him, and raise our son as much as we could together. Watch him get married, watch him grow, have a family. But yet I would just remain focused on God and the people that God brought into my life.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of it, I went through many challenges as a career single mom. And a lot of that, I had to press into myself and learn my own issues with myself. So through that, God strengthened me and empowered me to overcome my challenges. And the main ones I emphasize is identity issues, codependency, and debilitating fear and anxiety. And so much so that about 4 years ago, I even had I was on the verge of an emotional breakdown. And I had to do something different. And again, just pressing into the Lord, he brought me through it. And that's when I got out of my career of pharmaceutical sales and into financial services. But not only that, God just took me through a journey to realize the different things that I've learned in my life, and has inspired me to this calling to really help women become empowered to overcome their own challenges, such as mine. And so that's where I'm at today. And that's why I became a certified Christian life coach. And I just know that I know I'm where I'm at, and want to help encourage other women to do the same.
So, I mean, I guess one thing I want to touch on that you said that is so hard, I think, for a lot of us to do, whether it's with other people, but most importantly with ourselves, is to forgive.
Mm.
You know, like we don't forget. We probably forgive others way more than we forgive ourselves, to be honest. What advice would you give someone there in that area? Because I think about that. I think as women, that's a tough thing for us to do, is forgive ourselves.
I love that you asked me that question, because I have such a profound story behind that. As I stated before, my divorce happened when my son was a month old. And yes, there was another woman, and she was a friend. She even helped me with my baby shower. So learning to try to forgive and move on to work for my son's best interest, it was extremely hard. But what I learned through that is, of course, and I'm sure many of you have heard this, forgiveness isn't for that other person, it's for yourself. It's taking yourself out of that prison, okay? But it's also letting go of that lie to yourself that if you forgive that person, you're actually telling that person what they did was okay. And that's not true. That is not true. You're telling them that you forgive them and you're moving on with your life. It's more or less empowering yourself to move on with your life. And for me, on a spiritual level, it's saying, okay, God, I forgive this person and I'm giving him to you. So you do what you want to do with that person. Yeah. And in return, through those years, what had happened is my bitterness and my anger, my peace came. And I was able to work with my son's father. And years later, when my son was about 17, I get a phone call from my son's father, and he is at a pit of despair, and called me and just starts asking me questions. And lo and behold, I ended up, because I felt compassion for him and his family. So I ended up just ministering to him on the phone. Because he was asking me, how did I do it all of these years? He expected me to lash out at him. Mm-hmm. And I didn't. And he ended up accepting Christ in his heart that night. And later on, he went through healing. He's going to church as well. But he was even able to talk to our son and let our son know what happened and ask for his forgiveness. So it even spoke to my son's life by doing that. And those are some of the benefits that you can learn by the power of forgiveness.
Yeah, it seems it's like, I like that you said that sometimes, and I've heard, and you hear it a lot, you know, that forgiveness isn't for that other person, it's for, you know, for you to be able to move on. It's just something, you know, you're like, that's why I said a lot of this is really from your heart, right? It's because it takes so much, you know, to forgive. And I think when you think about the other things added on to it that you mentioned, the the anxiety, and you know, I myself have anxiety, and so when you add anxiety onto fear, onto lack of confidence, onto lack of forgiveness, it seems like we could easily get ourselves, into this quagmire of a pit.
It's so true. And that is one of my specialties that I work with as a Christian life coach, is I really help women identify the lies that they have been believing in themselves for so long. And you keep these thoughts in your mind just to yourself. And just by bringing them out to light, even hearing yourself talk about the lies that you've been believing, if you tell someone, you actually find a lot of them are irrational. They're not true. And we keep ourselves in prison like that, and we believe it. And so I help women through that coaching to bring that to light and to reverse their mindset on that. It's such a key piece of bringing that empowerment back to a certain individual.
Is there anything specifically that you can tell us that maybe, like I said, one or two things that we could do? Like, I'm thinking about some things I might do, like meditate, you know, maybe meditation, or read scripture.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely, 100%. And I think one of the things that we also believe, because our minds are incredibly strong, okay, but we do, through the power of Christ, have the power to control our minds. Our minds don't have to control us, because many, many times we have these racing thoughts, and it's like, how do I turn that off? Okay. But the key thing is to remember to keep your mindset on the present, not be thinking about the past, not be thinking about the future, but about the here and now. And what are you grateful for here and now? Because there's so many things that we look on the outside, and especially focusing on Christ and just allowing that peace to come in. And it takes training, and it does happen. Don't give up is what I would say. Do not give up, because there's so many times where you think to yourself, okay, I've tried this, it doesn't work. It takes practice. You're retraining your mind of something that you are learning new. So give yourself grace for that.
I like give yourself grace. I say that often. You know, it's like forgiveness. It's like we give so many forgiveness and grace, but we forget to give ourselves, you know, that same grace and forgiveness. I know one thing I've tried, and this, the scripture thing is why I mentioned it, is that I used to think to myself, like, you know, I need to learn the whole Bible, and, you know, all this, and that would be wonderful, right? In my mind, it would be wonderful. But, and then I thought, well, I'm going to just pick two scriptures that for me, right? So I'm ready. I say to people, when I'm ready to get upset, or I put it as I'm ready, my emotions are ready to go to the moon. I take that scripture, seek peace and work to maintain it, turn away from evil and do good. And I'm like, okay, I just say that, seek peace and work to maintain it, turn away from evil and do good. And then I say to the one, I prayed to the Lord, he answered me, he freed me from all of my fears. So I have those two on standby, you know?
Yes. Amen to that.
When I'm ready to go to the moon.
So mine is Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord your God with all of your heart. Lean not on your own understandings, meaning lean not on your own feelings. Your feelings lie to you. Push those feelings aside and focus on God with all of your heart and acknowledge him in all the ways that you can. That means acknowledging, praising him all the time, and focusing on him. That's bringing your eyes back to him when you're praising him for who he is, what he's done for you. And when you do that, then he makes your path straight. And that's what the verse says. So I totally love that you say that, but learning the verse that specifically speaks to you is going to help you the most.
Yeah. I always say that when I'm ready to go blast off, in another, orbit. Yes, Yash. Yes, exactly. When I'm ready to go blast off into some other orbit, I think of those ones if I don't know any other. So what have you found maybe, because we can talk about it all day and say what's going to happen, here's the great things to do, but let's face it, there are some challenges. What do you find have been maybe some challenges with some of the people, not necessarily like challenges with the people you're coaching, but some of the challenges or barriers to this, because we're not all, a sunshine and rainbows all the time. So what are some of the challenges that people can, face
during this time, as far as, do you mean challenges as far as trying to move forward in their life?
Yeah. I feel like it's hard, right? I mean, we say what we're going to do and we put it in front of us and we have advice to give, what to do. But sometimes, maybe I specifically think even around the holidays, it might be challenging for people to reach, dig down and deep, because it's a hard time for some people.
Absolutely. And that's a great question. It's also a loaded question. So I could say a couple of things. Number one, isolation is one of the most dangerous things that you can do in your life. Okay. Number two, when you're dealing with challenges, what I do when I'm coaching someone, I'm always talking about what kind of obstacles do you think that you're going to have in your way to accomplish your goal? Okay. And I often suggest, who can you reach out to that can help you be accountable, right? Who can you reach out to help you pray? What kind of things can you do to prevent maybe that obstacle from happening? So even something small, getting up in the morning and pushing that snooze button, right? Well, maybe putting your phone over in the bathroom or somewhere away from you so you can't reach it. You actually have to get out of bed. So in coaching, that's what I do, is I help my individual think of different ways that they can maneuver their obstacle so that when it happens, it's not going to offset them to defeat them. They're just going to work around it.
I like the whole, if putting your phone over there for a different reason, right? Like some people say over there so you're not like reading and doing things, but this is actually to get out of bed, right? Because sometimes you think to yourself, I'm so down or maybe depressed or whatever that word is for you, that you can't even get out of bed. But if you put your phone over there, that's going to make you, kind of get out of bed.
Absolutely.
What does the future hold?
So much for me. This is, there's so much negative things that have happened with COVID. But one of the positive things is you're allowed to work from home now. And so that has opened up a lot of avenues for me. My financial business is really taken off. And I've even started doing TikToks to educate people, which is I love. And I'm going to be doing a separate TikTok for my One Heart Empowered, because there are so much information that I have to give, and I'd love to give out freely. So those kind of things I'm looking at for myself. I love to pray with people. I love to inspire women. So even on my website, oneheartempowered.com. I say that because it's not all about my coaching. I have different videos on my website that are posted of women and the challenges that they've gone through in their lives, and how once they pressed into God's heart, they were able to overcome a lot of their challenges that they were experiencing. And for me in particular, I have 3 different videos of my own testimony. And my hope is just to put that out there freely, to encourage women that, you know what, whatever spot that you're in, it's never too late to start moving forward. And so I just, there's a lot of upcoming things in the future, definitely.
Yeah, I think, I think what you offer is, first of all, before I forget, so again, if you're just joining, this is the Terran Lamp Show number 70, episode number 78. Make sure you're liking, following, subscribing, all that stuff. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all that good stuff. But I wanted to let you know that Cheryl's, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. So I'm like looking at the light, look at the light. Site is the link to your website is also in the story, which we just put up right before the show to promo the show. So if you're wondering what her link is, it is in the story, my Instagram, my IG story. And once we post this video again, we'll post it again. So I know she just said it, but just to let people know that I'm going to post it again. I think that all you're doing is so needed right now, because again, we're coming out, or we're in, or whatever, I don't know, we're coming out of it, this an uncertain time.
Yes.
Excuse me, for a lot of people. And for women in particular, we tend to, not our men too. I want to respect that as well. I know that. Josh says, whatever spot you're in, it's never too late to keep moving. And right. I think that's true. Whatever spot we're in, it's never too late to keep moving. And this is like the best time and the most uncertain time.
Yes.
Because at the same time, all this is produced, a lot of uncertainty. At the same time, it's produced a lot of things, like Yash is saying, it's never too late to keep moving.
Yes.
This is a great time to kind of pick yourself up and keep moving, because the word has offered so much, opened up so much for us, right? Like with all the virtual interactions that are happening now that didn't happen before. And, from you to tug from your heart and from your bootstraps, is that the word people use, and say, okay, take it from the heart, and what do I want to do, and put back into myself, A, and into the world, B. And then, if you have a community like yours, and that's one thing I wanted to end with, is kind of like, tell me about the community of women. I'm assuming that you have, a great community for people who would like to enter your community. You probably already have a community there. Tell us a little bit about how you're building community there.
Absolutely.
My throat was telling me.
So definitely, and there is a place to contact me within the website to get connected. And I actually am going to be starting some Facebook Lives, even prayer groups, because exactly what you said, there's just some women that need encouragement in their lives. And so, yes, I have that. And like I said, I'm going to be starting a TikTok as well, which will be One Heart Empowered. And I do different things, just as far as when women connect with me. I do one-on-ones. I do free discovery calls that can help women. And if they can't afford my services, I actually can lead them to things that can help them as well. So different, I just love doing that. It's not all about me. It's what I can give. And then eventually it just reciprocates that way. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that. I will also mention one other thing. I am doing a market research currently right now on about 10 to 20 different women who are professional, faith-driven women, mothers or single mothers, and who are just at the point masking the fact that they are so overwhelmed, stressed, anxiety, fear, that type of thing, whether it's in the workplace or even in their lives. And I would love 20 minutes just to ask some questions and really get to know what it's like in your shoes. And in return, I am giving a coaching session away for free. So, but this is strictly for marketing purposes. This is just for me to learn, and hopefully I can just give back to you in return. It's confidential. So
well, make sure you get a hold of Cheryl.
Thank you.
Again, we're going to have her website everywhere, but if you're on, you'll see her handle there. Well, Cheryl, okay, so one last question, and this is a question, excuse me, that I do not send to people on purpose.
Love it. Surprise.
It's a surprise. But if people have been watching for a long time, most of them know that I'm a fur mom, and I have a cat, an inside cat, and then I have these cats that I save outside. So I always talk about curiosity in the cat. So what is one thing you are curious about?
Ooh, what makes people stay in the rut that they're at and get them to finally just do something about it? Because just because it's different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And some people never get there. And what would it take to get them to get to that point?
That's a good one. We've not heard that one, huh, buddy? This is my little guy right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm truth. I am a person. Okay, so I'm allergic to cats. And I will tell you that I have never liked cats, but I know I'm going to tell you something positive. I have a best friend that I had to stay with her for a while when this whole COVID outbreak happened. She lost her husband, and she had 2 cats, very, very furry. And I end up loving him, and I'm known as Auntie Coco. So I've changed her mind.
I gets in a lot of trouble, but he's my baby. Well, again, guys, this is the Terranlamp Show, episode number 78. Excuse me. Oh, I'm like looking at the light. Please. This is episode number 78 of the Terranlamp Show. We are here every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5:30 p.m. for my West Coast peeps, 8:30 p.m. for my East Coast peeps, and every Tuesday, if you have a story, and I know you do, I would love to have you here on the show. If you know someone who has a story, we all have a story. So make sure you hook us up, DM me. If you have my information, you can email me or what's that called? Text message me, anything on my cell phone. If you know someone who has a story, this is all by volunteer. Cheryl's coming on, all of her free will. Every episode is by volunteer and free love. Oh, you got a question here, Cheryl. What is one piece of advice in the form of help you'd give to anyone who is in trouble, or in any of the situations you talked about?
Not to isolate. As much as you can for yourself, not to isolate, and reach out. And there are groups that you can reach out to. either on Facebook and listen to positive things like Terranlamp show. But there's hope. There is hope. Do never, ever, never, ever forget that. There is always hope. You have to get your eyesight from not looking inside the box, but look outside of it. There is a whole world out there, and there's so many choices that you have.
So not to isolate. That's a good one. And have hope. I've heard of the have hope before, as long as you you have hope. So thanks, Josh, for asking that question, and thanks, Cheryl, for answering it. Again, guys, make sure you are liking us here on IGTV. Share the show and the channel with your friends. Make sure you're taking a look at prior episodes, following us on YouTube and Instagram and Apple Podcasts. And we will be back next Tuesday. Hopefully I'll be able to talk without making noise. So I will be back. We will be back next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is the Terran Lamp Show, episode number 78. Be good to yourself and each other. And if you'd like to donate, my Cash App is in the comments. Again, no official 501c3, just love and kindness. And we are out, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Thank you, Terran.
Bye-bye.
Bye.